So a majority of you have this doubt that what is adapt and how important it is, what if you don't perform well in it, how much do you need to score, and a lot more of confusion. So in today's video, I have tried to answer all of these questions. Do watch the video to the end and let's get started. So ADAPT is a training that Capgemini provides to its employees prior to their joining the organization. That is, if you are a fresher and you are a campus select, then you will be undergoing this ADAPT training maybe somewhere in your 8th semester, okay? And if you are from an off-campus and you're still a fresher but you are not currently part of a college, you've passed out before, even then you will be receiving these ADAPT trainings. You will be getting the ADAPT credentials after you have accepted your LOI. So first question, when you will get the ADAPT training, okay? So after LOI, maybe 1 or 2 months, not really 1 month, it usually takes 2 months. That was what was in my case. I received my LOI in the month of December and I received the ADAPT credentials and all the details about my ADAPT training in the month of February. After that, you need to complete the ADAPT training. So the training was majorly or is majorly divided into 2 segments, okay? So the first segment is kind of generic. It is mostly, database like SQL and RDBMS and those kind of topics, okay? Even English skills or soft skills. So these kind of topics are there in the first part of it. So this part is typically it's smaller and it has small courses and small deadlines, and even the final test is very small. So all you need to do is, so when you will be receiving the credentials, after that you will also be receiving a list of the days and the tentative or the due date by which you need to complete. The deadline is also given. So the course name along with the deadline will be provided to you via email, and you need to complete your courses by the given deadline, okay? Now how critical is it, and what if I miss a deadline? No guys, that's not an option. You cannot miss the ADAPT training. You cannot miss on a deadline. You need to complete it by the given deadline, okay? Because if you say, are there consequences? Yes, there are. Maybe not immediately, you won't be finding it immediately, but it might affect your DOJ and stuffs like that. So why to take the risk? You need to follow up and you need to keep in mind, even you can set reminders, and you need to finish the courses within the given deadlines. So every course has after the lectures, they have a little quiz or something like that, and you need to pass. So the quizzes are very I would say related to the lectures only, and it's easy and it's non-proctored. You can give multiple retests and you can pass them, and then you can continue with your course. After you have completed the entire part 1 of the training, there will be an exam for the part 1. So this exam will be it will be containing of all the things that you have learned or that was given to you as a training module and you needed to complete it. All of those things will be asked in that test and you need to pass it, okay? Of course there's a retest for that, but it's good if you pass it in the first attempt because it's not that difficult. But I would still say that you need to study and you need to keep yourself updated, because the questions might seem tricky, especially if you are from a non-coding or non-CSIT background like me, okay? So if you are belonging to a non-CSIT background, then I would rather say that please be particular and try to go through all of the modules and complete all the quizzes and give the test. It will be really helpful, not just for passing the current test that I am talking about, but even when you are in your job, it will be helpful in that space, okay? After that comes the second part of the ADAPT training. Now the second part is fairly longer. It has more number of courses. The courses are divided into different parts and each part has separate modules and you need to complete them. Again, as the first part of the training was, you will be given the name and you will be given the deadline by which you need to complete that particular module. And after you have done, then there will be, quizzes, and then after you have completed the entire part, there will be a test, okay? So this is there. Now what will this second part consist of? The second part will actually consist of different technologies on which you guys were hired, okay? So it might not be similar for you and your friend sitting beside you, okay? It can be different because both of you could have been picked for different technologies, okay? So for my case, I was given the Java training, okay? I was taken as a Java candidate, okay? So my training was somewhere related to Java, but then I came to know that in my college only there were other people who were given .NET training. So it's different, and the course structure and the course structure remains the same, but the modules are different, of course, because the language is different. And then the exam also, it depends on the length of the course. So Java was typically a bit lengthy, so my exam was conducted at a later point as compared to the people who were given this .NET training. Okay, so that's how it was. And after you have completed all your modules, there will be this test. So as I have said, it will be proctored, and you need to give it, and if you pass, very good. If you do not pass the test, then you are eligible for a retest, and then the retest will be conducted and you need to pass it. Okay, at the end there will be a case study given to each and every one of you. Okay, now this case study is fairly similar. It's similar to all of you. Okay, so I mean all the Java, say for example, all of the people who received Java got this case study. So now this case study has all the things from part 1 and part 2. Okay, it's a combination of the entire thing, and you need to build a project, and you need to understand that case study, and whatever questions are there, you need to answer them, and you need to submit it before the given deadline. Okay, so that is also there. During my time, there was also a presentation just to check on the soft skills that we were trained on, but recently I've heard that this presentation bit is removed, so you can be relieved on that end. So that's how adapt goes. Firstly, it's part 1, which is common for all of you. Secondly, part 2, which is dependent on the technology that you were hired for. And third is the case study that will be given. It will be a combination of part 1 and part 2. Okay, now the mostly asked question that I have is, I have not performed well in adapt, will it affect? So guys, yes, Capgemini is very particular about this adapt training, and it does consider the performance. They might not reject you, but your DOJ and other things also, like on a later stage, which project you will be put upon. Okay, because those marks are added to your profile. Okay, adapt training, how much marks you scored, that will be added to your profile, and you will be selected, or you will be seen as with respect to whatever marks you've got. So if it is less than, however better you are a candidate or you're a student, it will give a false impression. Okay, so yes, adapt is a very important part for Capgemini at least. So I would really recommend that you stick to the deadlines, you do all the things that is there, and you take those tests and everything really seriously, because it is rather serious when it comes to Capgemini. After that, there are other questions that if I have not passed the test, then will my candidature be cancelled? Will I be rejected? Guys, if you have not passed the test, then do pass the retest. Try passing the retest. If your condition is very poor, if you have not completed a lot of your modules, and you have not passed on in your tests and stuffs like that, then they can think of rejection. I'm not trying to scare you here, but what I want to say is, unless you have joined in, you are seen as an outsider, and whose performance should be good enough for them to take, and they need to be confident that yes, taking this person will actually be it will actually act as an asset to them. So if adapt goes wrong, then the foundation goes wrong. So it's better that you take it seriously. Okay, one more query that a lot of you have is that whether you are paid for this training. No guys, you are not paid for this training. This happens prior to your joining the organization. So it is just a base to your base. Okay, once you join, you will again be trained for 3 months, as I've said. So it is a base to your base. It's given for freshers, just to brush up all the topics and stuff like that. So no, during this time, it will not be a paid thing. It will be an unpaid thing, but you need to undergo all the trainings, and you need to pass the test in order to get hold of the job that you have already secured. Okay. Now, the last query that people have is that, I have, it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months, and I have not received my training, my adapt training credentials. So that I want to tell you guys again, I have said this in my previous videos also. all I want to say is, guys, not everyone gets the adapt training, okay? It is completely dependent on the BU, whether the BU wants you to get this training. Say for example, you are taken in the finance domain, okay, and your job will be mostly of the finance things. So the adapt training might not be the most suited training for you. That is why you might not be given this adapt training. So the adapt training is also somehow or somewhat dependent on whether the BU wants you to get this training or not. So if you have not received, it's not faulty from your end. It's not like you have received and you're not doing it. You did not receive it at all, okay? So all you can do is might be check. If all your friends are getting, then you might give it a check. But if you're not getting it, even if you have checked and you're not getting it, then I would say there's no need to panic, because it is dependent. It is based on the business requirements. So it might happen that you're not getting it. So I hope that I have been able to answer your questions. If you have any more queries, drop a comment as usual. And don't forget to subscribe to CareerQ. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.